Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Wendy Alameen James Show. Tonight's guest, we have attorney that started representing Kevin Cooper, and we have Kevin Cooper calling in from Death Row. Enjoy the show. We want you to call in and give some questions that should be answered, need to be answered. So we want to welcome the attorney that started representing Kevin Cooper, David Alexander.
Well, thank you very much, Wendell, for having me here. It's really a privilege to be on the station, and it's an honor and a privilege to be representing Kevin Cooper, who I've now known for over 13 years. And I know people want to hear from Kevin, so I'm just going to be real brief. I want to caution people who call in that when Kevin calls in, that conversation is being recorded. And that's Kevin right now. And look on the screen and you'll see freekevincooper.org.
We have Mr. Cooper calling in from Death Row as we speak. We're going to allow people to call in and ask questions pertaining Kevin's conviction.
An inmate at the California State Prison, San Quentin, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now.
5.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Okay, good.
All right, Kevin, let me just say one more thing on the air. We have Mr. Cooper, Kevin Cooper, on the line. And let me just say that there are a lot of facts, and that we don't have enough time to go through all of them. This is not a case of a single instance of law enforcement misconduct, but repeated and numerous from the day of the day the crimes were committed. And it actually, we're discovering more and more all the time. As you can see on the screen, I recommend that people go to freekevincooper.org and you can connect to all sorts of material that we have there. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kevin, except to say that while Kevin is on death row, this is principally a case of wrongful conviction of innocence. And that is what our focus is. So I'm happy to answer any questions, but I think you want to hear from Kevin. So, Wendell, I turn it back to you.
Okay, Kevin, we want to ask a few questions because you've been on death row for over 30 years, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we want to ask a few questions because we're going to have them called in and want to ask you some questions. You was found guilty of this crime and you maintain your innocence over 30 years. So, like I said, people are going to call in and want to ask you some questions. So we want to prepare you for that and answer the questions that they want to have. They want answers to. Would you like to say something on Mrs. Cooper while you're waiting for the call-ins?
Yes, I will.
Good.
My name is Kevin Cooper, and I've been on death row for over 30 years for murders I did not commit. On February the 9th, 2004, I came within 3 hours and 42 minutes of being strapped down on that gurney in that death chamber, tortured and murdered by the state of California. I did not get murdered that night because I received the stay of execution from the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, and the United States Supreme Court would not let them murder me. But I'm still here on death row, even though I am the only person in this country that has 5 federal circuit judges saying the state, California, may be about to execute an innocent man. That's unprecedented. It has never happened before in the history of the state. I also have, in total, 12 federal circuit judges saying something's wrong with this case that it needs to be heard. 11 of those judges dissented in my case. One of the judges who said I should be executed didn't do it as a matter of fact. She said it as a matter of law because of the anti-terrorism effective death penalty act signed into law by President Bill Clinton in 1996. But if you look at all this together, you will see that I'm the only person in this country that has that many judges saying something's wrong with the death penalty case. But yet I'm still on death row facing execution. If anyone doubts, and I say this again, if anyone doubts that black people in America are under the threat of death constantly, all you have to do is look at what's happening out here in the streets with the police. Because that is the front end of the criminal justice system. I sit here at the ass end of the criminal justice system. But whether we're shot down by the police in the front end or executed by these executioners on the back end, it's all part of the same criminal justice system. So I ask you and anyone else who can help me from a grassroots level, when you find out the truth about this case, please get involved and help me.
Kevin, let me just add one thing, if I might, and that is you have a lot of support in the community among some notables, but perhaps one of the most impactful of them all is that the American Bar Association, which is not exactly your wild and crazy group of members, has come out in support of the petition for clemency that's before Governor Brown. Now, I can't say for certain this is the first time that has ever happened, but I can say that nobody at the American Bar Association or otherwise recalls it ever happening. So that, for those who are skeptical, that's a pretty impressive organization who's looked at this. The other organization, equally prominent and important, is the National Bar Association, which is essentially, I won't say exclusively, made up of black lawyers in the United States. And they have also opined in support of Kevin's innocence. There are many others. I won't waste the time now, but they are listed on our on the website. We have some former prosecutors who've looked at this case and have said that Kevin is innocent. So this is not idle. The evidence is overwhelming and compelling of Kevin's innocence. All right, maybe do we have any questions, Wendell? Do you know?
Mr. Cooper, I asked the question that I posed a question and answer, that you continue with your fight. You know, we have so many people in the state of California that's sent to prison each year that's innocent of crimes. And they're doing time. You know, they're not being released. They're doing time in prison for crimes that they did not commit. Now we're in death row. You're on death row. We have people that's on death row that are innocent of their crimes, and they're on death row. So you continue with your 8-ounce gloves that you have on. Don't take them off. Don't take them off. Fight for your life. Get your life back, because you are needed out here in this society to let society know what's going on with this justice system. You know, so we need you out here as you continue to fight. And as long as I am behind this camera and in this studio, I'm going to fight for you.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. And
yes.
As long as I'm alive, I'm going to fight for myself, but I'm also going to fight to end this rat mass, horrific and historic crime against humanity, the death penalty. Because if I don't, I feel like I'm betraying our ancestors.
That's right. That's right.
Because silence is betrayal.
Right.
You know damn well this system is wrong from everything that everybody looks at and says this criminal justice system is rotten to its core. But the only people that are executed in America are poor people.
That's
This
right.
call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And that it's easier to get the death penalty if you're convicted, rightly or wrongly, of murdering white people than any other people. Something's wrong with this system. And as the late Ella Baker said, and I believe it was her that said it, until the murder of black women daughters who come as important to this country as the murder of white women's sons and daughters, then nothing's going to change. We are the ones that have to change it, and I'm doing my part from in here, and I need help.
Yes.
People have a difficult time coming to grips with the fact, and I'm not condemning all law enforcement by any means, just like we don't condemn all police, but people are beginning to realize, given the almost epidemic of wrongful convictions that are appearing throughout the country and coming to light, that the issue is not justice, or guilt. The issue is winning. And that is too often what is driving the criminal justice system, and it falls disproportionately on the poor, black poor, Hispanic poor, other white poor, all throughout our populations. And it has to stop. People have difficult time understanding how police can do what some of the stuff. Until now, we see it on video, and it's no different in this system.
And as long as people continue to believe in the American dream, while people like me experience the American nightmare, nothing's going to change. We have to make them.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
We have to make them understand that the myth of America's greatness will only be realized until it starts becoming a reality that it says it is on paper. And the reality is it's not. The reality is classism, racism, sexism, homophobia, and all these other isms are running rampant in this country. And it falls on no one people harder than the poor people, which I am one of.
Let me just
I, the rich man, I wouldn't even be here. Not with the evidence that we have of my innocence and the fact that these people framed me. I wouldn't be here at all. But because I'm a poor black man that America deems as expendable, I sit here rotting away.
Let me give the viewers a statistic, and this comes out of the Academy of Sciences, National Academy of Sciences, who did a study on people on death row and wrongful convictions, and found 4.1%, this is nationally now, 4.1% of people on death row have shown to have been innocent. That doesn't, so if you've got approximately 730, maybe a little more at San Quentin in California alone, apply that number and you're talking about 30 or more people who are innocent, and it's been shown they're innocent. That doesn't include those who, for a variety of reasons, haven't been able to show their innocence yet. But I want people to recognize, and the instances where we have executed people who are innocent and learned about it after the fact is horrendous, frankly, and there is nothing worse than to execute an innocent man. And if people, sorry, Kevin, go right ahead.
No, I was going to say or woman, because they do execute women in this country, even though you don't hear about it that much. My thing is this, with me. All I ask is the state of California give me what those so-called slave-owning founding fathers said we have a right to have when they wrote it on paper all those years ago. And what is that? A trial free from governmental interference. I have not had that. Every aspect of this case, in every hearing, trial, whatever I had, they have always interfered by withholding evidence, destroying evidence, planting evidence, lying about evidence, tampering with evidence, tampering with witnesses. You name it, they've done it. And judges let them get away with it.
Depending on how detailed people want to get into this, and it's quite remarkable, there is a decision written by Judge Willie Fletcher of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, who was Bill Clinton's roommate at Oxford for a period of time, who's written an almost 100-page analysis of the evidence and in the case to conclude that the state of California may be about to execute an innocent man. Not be maybe innocent, but maybe about to execute an innocent man. And he was joined, as Kevin, as you mentioned, by almost one half of the other judges who considered
You have 60 seconds remaining.
And those other judges didn't make a decision on the merits, but as a matter for legal reasons, not factual reasons, legal reasons, they felt constrained not to be able to consider matters that had been raised. And I'll just give viewers a little highlight, if I might, Wendell, but perhaps not.
Let me say this for you.
Yes, sir.
Kevin has a short time left. We want to let the audience know
have
that
30
we don't have
seconds
a lot of time left on this call. Kevin, we're going to bring you.
Kevin close up. Oh, sorry.
We're going to bring you back in a few weeks because we don't have call-ins tonight. We're going to call you back in a few weeks and have you come back on the show and allow people to call in. So next week we have Glenn Bailey, that was a longtime resident in San Quentin. He'll be on the 18th. And the following weeks, we're going to bring Mr. Cooper back onto the show so you can call in and ask questions. This needs to be talked about. People need to ask questions about this. We need to stop this system from doing what it's doing. So in a few weeks, we're going to have Glenn Bailey. He'll be here on the 18th. Following that interview with Glenn Bailey, we're going to bring Mr. Cooper back, and we're going to allow you to ask questions. Call in and ask questions. Mr. Cooper will be back on the air on this show in a few weeks, and you'll be able to call in. So please, next week, tune in. On the 18th, we'll have Glenn Bailey. A few weeks after that, we're going to bring Mr. Cooper back, bring his attorney that represented him at the beginning. We're going to bring him back, and we're going to sit in and we're going to ask questions. So please, look at the show. Look at what we're doing. Look at what we're trying to do to help people in this system that's corrupt. Okay, so we want to make sure that everybody understands that we want to bring this man that's on death row. He's been on death row over 30 years. He's been on death row for over 30 years, and he has the right for a fair trial. He has the right to tell society who he is, not on who he's been portrayed to be.
State Prison,
so allow
San
this
Quentin,
man to
San
come back
Quentin,
onto the show.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
The
To
information
accept this
that you
call,
need to know.
say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
So, Mr. Cooper, what I just addressed the audience, I told the audience that we have a short time left. We're going to bring you back in a few weeks. Okay, next week, on the 18th, we have Glenn Bailey coming on. He was a longtime resident at San Quentin. And we're going to bring you back a couple of weeks after that so they can call in. Right now, the phone system is down. They're not able to call in tonight. We want to bring you back so you can get back on television and tell these people what they need to know. Okay, you have a right to have your story told in its entirety, not partially. So we want to bring you back so you can have your story told in its entirety.
Thank you very much.
Right.
I greatly appreciate your help.
Right. This is what this show is about. The reason why we do this show is a show for long-time offenders, lifers. I started this show maybe a year ago, right? But this show is for long-time offenders. I was sent to prison for 27 years to life. I did 27 years and 9 months for a crime that I did not commit. I want you to understand that I did not commit. And this is why we have this show today. And we are going to make people understand that, see, you can be in prison for a crime you didn't commit, right? But we have an audience, we have a television show now to let society know that this does happen. This does happen. We got a man that's on death row. He's been on death row over 30 years for a crime he didn't commit. I was in prison for 27 years, 9 months for a crime I did not commit. That's water and oil. It don't mix. Okay, so we're going to bring people on the show to let them tell society it's corrupt and it needs to be fixed. And we have an audience. We have a TV show. We have a show here for long-time offenders for lifers on death row. And that's what we're doing today. So, Mr. Cooper, you're more than welcome to be on this show to tell your story. In a few weeks, we're going to bring you back so you can tell the audience who you are.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
I greatly appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
We greatly appreciate it.
Yes, sir. So we got a few more minutes left. When he say a few more minutes left, and we're gonna end tonight. Mr. Cooper, we appreciate you having coming on the show. We can end it with you. You can go ahead and say what you have to say. We're gonna end it with you.
Thank you. I just want to let America know that if we don't believe that innocent people are being imprisoned or executed, and I must ask you what you've been smoking. Because the reality is, you got a whole lot of innocent people
Yes, you do.
in prison.
Yes, you do.
And if we don't do nothing about it, that's shame on us.
Yes.
Because the oppressors ain't going to stop this unless we make them. They never stop this. They make money off of us.
Yes, sir.
We are just as valuable today as slaves were back in the day. They make money off of each and every one of us. So they're not going to stop. We have to stop it. And I ask you to get involved in this struggle, not just for me, but for our collective humanity. With that said, I wish you peace, struggle, and solidarity. My name is Kevin Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. Thank you very kindly, sir. We'll see you in a few weeks, Mr. Cooper. You hold on to it, man. Hold on to it. Do not take your gloves off. Keep on fighting.
Thank you, brother. I will.
Thank you. So with that, we want to end our show tonight, and we appreciate you looking at the show tonight. Next week, we'll have Glenn Bailey on from 6:30 to 7. And the following weeks, we'll have Mr. Kevin Cooper back on the air. Stay tuned to our show, and we appreciate you coming on tonight. Thank you, and have a good weekend.